Hello friends, welcome to my channel Nihira Techies. Today we can talk about how to use Dapper in ASP.NET Core Web API. For the implementation, we can use the framework is .NET 7.0. The functionality point of view, we can do the complete CRUD actions. Okay. So before going to the implementation, we can see what is Dapper. So Dapper is nothing but an ORM, object relational mapping. It is responsible for mapping between database and programming language. Okay. So nowadays we have a lot of ORM available. Even my previous videos also I have used Entity Framework Core, that also a kind of ORM. So if you comparing this Dapper with other ORM, the data retrieval is somewhat fast. Okay. And the concept of Dapper is it extends the IDP connection interface. So in order to we can use some extension method. So using that we can execute the SQL queries and also the store procedures. Okay. So now we can start the implementation. So parallelly we can see what are the extension methods are available. Okay. So let me create one new application, new project. We can choose this template and the project name. Let me give land Dapper. So we can have this framework is .NET 7.0. So let me create this one. Okay, our application is created. Next we can install the required packages. So let me go to the NuGet package manager. So in this browse side we can search like Dapper. So the latest version 2.0.138 is available. We can install this one. Okay, the installation gets completed. So next we can install the SQL client. Okay. So here we can see this Microsoft and also system dot. So let me choose this Microsoft dot data dot SQL client. Okay, the installation gets completed. So next we can create one new controller. So in this API side we can choose this empty controller. Okay. So let me provide the name is employee. I'm already having one created database. So in this land DB, we have this table is called table employee. So this table only I'm going to use. It is having 5 columns: code, name, email, phone number, and destination. Okay. So here this code is nothing but a primary key, and also this is the identity column. So now let me go back to our application. So here I'm going to create one model class. So let me create one folder, the name of model. Here I'm creating one model class. So we can provide the name is employee. So next we can declare our properties. So since we know our column names, so let me include one by one. Next let me include the name. So similarly we can include the other columns also. Okay. Email, phone, and destination. Okay, now our model is ready. So next we have to include the connection string in our app settings.json. So connection string can provide the name is connection. Okay. So the value already I'm having it is handy. So the first one is server name, then our database we are using this LandDB, and the trusted connection is true, and also trust server certificate also true. Okay. So let me save this one. Next we can create our database context. Okay. So we can create one more folder. I'm going to provide the name is data. So inside that I'm creating new CS file for our DB context, Dapper DB context. So here I'm going to create one constructor. So there we can inject our high configuration. Okay. So in order to access our connection string. And next let me declare our connection string. So here we can assign the value for our connection string. So this dot underscore configuration dot get connection string of. So here we have to provide our connection string name. Okay, so that is available in our app settings.json. Next, in our Dapper, basically it is extend the IDB connection interface. So we can use this one, IDB connection, new SQL connection of. Here we have to pass our connection string. Okay. So now our database context is ready. So our DB context is ready. So the next thing is we have to register this database context in our program.cs file. So in our service side, so builder.services dot add transient, we can use our Dapper DB context. Okay, this is fine. Next, I am going to create our repos class and also the interface. So let me create one more folder, repo, and here we can have the classes employee repo and also one interface. Okay, this is fine. So in this interface, I'm going to declare our first function. So list of employee, so this get all. Okay, and in our repos class we can implement the same interface, employee repo. We can implement this interface here. And the next thing is I'm going to have one constructor. Here we can inject our database context. Okay, and before implementing this getAll function, we have to register our repos and also interface in our program.cs file. After this Dapper DB context, we can use our interface, employee repo, and the implementation class. Okay, so this is also done. So now let me focus on the implementation of this getAll method. Okay, so first what I'm going to do, let me create one query, select star from table employee. So this is our table name. Yeah, next we can initiate our connection. So this dot context dot create connection. So here I'm going to declare one variable where employee list, and we are doing this asynchronous programming. So let me mark this function also asynchronous, and we have to use this await. So now connection dot query asynchronous, and our final response is, the response model is employee. So here we have to pass this query also. Okay, so once it is done, we have to return this employee list. Also we can convert into list. Okay, next let me move on the controller side. Here also first we can have one constructor. Okay, so next we can inject our interface here, employee repo, and let me inject this one. Okay, this is also done. So next we can create our first action method. So the method type is get method. So the name is get all, and we are doing the asynchronous programming. So let me mark this into asynchronous. So inside the task we can use the iAction result interface. Okay, and here I am going to declare one more variable. So this dot repo dot get all, and here we can check underscore list not equal to null. If this is the scenario, we can return as the our list. Maybe we can use await from here, and let me remove it. Okay, so in this else scenario we can return not found. So we have done our first method. So let me run this application and we can verify. So if it is working, we can focus on the other functionalities. Okay, okay, it is working fine without any error. Okay, so now let me focus on the other functionalities. So let me go to our interface side, and the second function is get by code. So it is returning only the object. Okay, and it is having one input, that is code. And our next function is create. So it is having the input is our employee object, and the return type is string. And the fourth functionality is update. So it is having this object and also the key value, and the response is same only. And the final one is delete, or we can use as the remove. So it is having this code as our input, and the response is string only. Okay, so now we can implement all the interfaces in our post class. So the potential fix, implement all the interfaces. Okay, so first we can complete the easiest one, get by code. So already we have this get all method, so we can copy the same item. So let me mark this into asynchronous, and in this query we can include where condition code equal to at code. Okay, and now it is not a list, it is a just object only. And since it is returning the single object, so we can change our extension method. Query first or default asynchronous. Okay, and also we need to pass the parameter. For that we can use as the object. And the next easiest method is this remove function. So let me copy the same code, and here let me declare one more string variable, that is response. So the default value should be string.empty. So our query is delete from, and table name we are passing this code, and the extension method we can use as the execute. Okay, so since this is the asynchronous method, we can use the execute asynchronous, and let me mark this also asynchronous. Okay, and this response is nothing actually. So once the execution is completed, we can set the values for this response as pass. At the end we can return as the response. Okay, so we have completed three functionalities. So next let me move on the create function. Okay, so we can copy the same code. So let me include it here, and first we have to form our query insert into our table name. So here we have to mention what are the fields we are going to insert the data. Okay, so the first field is name because the code is auto generated field. The next one is email, then phone, and the final one is destination. So in these values we have to pass our parameters at name, at email, at phone, destination. So next we can create the parameters. Okay, new dynamic parameters, parameters dot add name and our value employee dot name, then db type, so the type is string. Okay, so this is our first parameter. So similarly let me include next three more parameters. Email, then phone, and finally destination. For the execution we can use the same execute asynchronous only. First we pass this query, so after that we can use the parameters and we can mark this function into asynchronous. Okay, so this is all about the create function. So we can copy the same code. So let me complete the update function also. It is in the end. So here the parameters are same. So additionally we have to include the code also. So let me include this code, or else we can use this direct value. And let me change this query. Update table employee, set name equal to at name, and next email equal to at email, then phone equal to at phone, where code equal to at code. Okay, we have done our query. Similarly we can mark this function also asynchronous. That's it, because other things are same only. So we can rebuild this application. If there is any error we can resolve first. So far we are good. So let me focus on the controller side. Okay, so after this get all method I am going to include this get by code function. So our parameter is code, and the input is integer code, and this function we can use this get by code, and also I'm passing this parameter. Okay, and other things are same only. So next our create method. So in this create let me change this into HTTP post, and the input is we can use the from body and our employee object. Okay, and create just passing like this, and in this response we can directly use it. Okay, no need to check anything. So the same way we can apply for our update method also. So first we have to change the name, And second thing, we have to change the method type. Instead of post, we can use the put. And here we have to use one more parameter. So in this update function, we have to pass this code also, okay? And the final one is remove. So let me provide the name is remove, and it is having only one parameter, that is our code only. And instead of this put, we can move this into delete. So now we are good to go. So let me run this application. We can verify one by one. So here first I am going to execute this getAll method. So here let me take this code 1043, and also we have this 1047 also, okay? Next in our getByCode method, we can verify. So I'm getting this single object. In case if I'm providing 1044, I'm getting this not found response. So if I'm providing 47, it will work, okay? So next let me create one new record. We can remove this code. So name is Nihira mh@in.com. So phone number I am providing some values. So this destination let me provide as admin, okay? So if I'm executed, I'm getting the response is fast. So that means I believe the record is created. So anyway, we can confirm. I'm going to execute the getAll method once again. So at the end, you can see the new record, okay? We have provided the same data only. So a new record created with the name of 1070. So let me copy the same object. So using that, we can verify our update function. So we can replace the same object. So instead of Nihira, let me provide us Nihira techies. And then we can replace our official email. Nihira techies@gmail.com. And the phone number at the end I am provided as 1, okay? Our object is fine, and also in this code we can use this 1070. So let me execute this one. So we are getting this pass response, okay? So let me go back to our getByCode function. See, our new values are updated, okay? So that means our get function, getByCode, create and updates are working fine. So finally we can test this remove also. I got the pass response only. So in my getByCode, I'm going to use the same 1070. See, now I am getting this not found because the record got removed, okay? So now we successfully completed our CRUD actions. So next I'm going to explain how to use the store procedures. As of now, we have used the direct SQL queries. So instead of that, we can use the procedure, okay? For doing this implementation, I am already created one store procedure. So this is my procedure, sp underscore get employee by role. So let me execute this one. It is returning some data, okay? Now in our application side, basically two ways we can execute the procedure. One is the command type we can use as the procedure, and another type is the default one, text, okay? So anyway, let me cover the both ways. First, let me create one function in our interface side. After this getAll function, we can provide get all by role. Now go back to our implementation class. So there we will get the suggestion. And whatever code we have used in our getAll function, So let me copy and reuse it here. So here we are executing like that our procedures. So let me copy the same thing. We can replace this query. So instead of this at admin, let me provide at role. Okay. And here we will get one input string role. So the same thing we have to apply in our interface also, otherwise we will get an error. And we can mark this function into asynchronous. So after this query, so let me pass this parameter, and finally we can create one new method in our controller side, get all by role, and it is having the input string role. Here the function is get all by role. So let me pass this parameter also. So we can run this one. So we can provide the same value as admin. See, we are getting the response. Okay. And in this table we can verify what are the other roles we have. Okay, we have this dev and sub admin developer. So let me provide dev. See, I have only one record and a sub. So for that also I have one record and developer. Yeah, for the developer we have the 3 records. Okay, and this is the normal implementation. The command type is text only. So now let me change this into our command type is store procedure. Okay, so first let me copy everything and also command the existing item. So once I uploaded the source in the GitHub, you can use this for the reference. Okay, so in this query point of view, we can use the procedure name only, and we are passing this query is nothing but our procedure name, and we are passing our parameters role. So finally we have to provide our command type. Our command type is store procedure. Okay, this is the change we have done. So let me rerun the application and verify it. Admin. See, we are getting the response. Okay, so if I'm providing just I'm getting this empty array. Okay, and this dev I'm getting the single data. So that means our functionality is working fine. So now we are in the end of the video. So I hope you got some better idea about this Dapper and the executing queries and the store procedures. So in my next video we can see one of the interesting topics. So now we are in the end of the video. Still, if you have any doubts or clarification, please post in the comment box. And also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.